Major Mets coaching shakeup to end the week here on Friday. Let's get to it. First off, the Mets have fired hitting coaches Jeremy Barnes and Eric Chavez. Thank the Lord. Eric Chavez was busy chirping fans back on Instagram. You never win when you go against the fans. The Mets hitting approach sucked this year. Thank God that has changed. They've also moved on from third base coach Mike Sarball, who I still have nightmares over for him not sending Tyrone Taylor home against the Guardians in a game that the Mets win, and he sends him home. We're talking about the Mets still in the playoffs. So Sarball is gone. John Gibbons has gone for younger life. He said, hey, I'm going to resign. Let someone else with some more juice take it. Love that from Gibbons. He's 63, back end of his coaching career. That's the right move. Would love a former Met in that role. Either the hitting coach Beltran or J.D. Martinez or Willie Randolph maybe or Ron Washington. Someone like that would be cool for that role. And then finally, Glenn Sherlock announcing his retirement. That's the catching instructor. He was older. Good call there. Jeremy Hefner, the pitching coach, fired. This was the one semi-surprise. I think the Mets like Hefner. They love the pitching lab. But let's be real. The reality is the pitchers could not get through 5 or 6 innings. I mean, it was third, fourth inning. They were pulling starters. Guys were regressing this year. Walks were through the roof. The Mets were leading the league in walks. So a lot of bad stats for Jeremy Hefner and his pitching staff. And the reality is the pitching is what destroyed the Mets. The second half of the season, the starting pitching, the bullpen, you had guys who were once great, were bad out of nowhere. So gone is Hefner, gone is Chavez, gone is Barnes, gone is Sarball, gone is Gibbons, gone is Sherlock. Assistant pitching coach Desi Drechel and bullpen coach Jose Rosado are able to speak to other teams pending the selection of the new pitching coach. So that pretty much says, hey, you should probably look for another job. Danny Barnes, strategy coach, is staying. Assistant Rafael Fernandez is staying, who the players raved about. And the players raved about first base coach Antoine Richardson, who's staying. The Mets were stealing bases like no other. Incredible job from Antoine Richardson. So he stays. Now, the reality is Carlos Mendoza is going to be on the hot seat. The Mets have a couple bad months to start the season. I mean, this is probably why you should have went with a fresh slate completely. If the Mets are 10 games under 500 Memorial Day, I think Carlos Mendoza gets fired. So big job here for Mendoza in what's going to be a lame duck season for him. He's got to perform as manager, and they got to bring in the right coaching staff to get this thing turned around. There's no rebuild here in Queens. The Mets need to compete for a championship next year. So let's see who they get. Let's see if they bring in old guys like a Fonzie, a Beltran, a JD, a Ron Washington. Those are some of the names. We'll see who they bring in. But a big coaching search ahead and a big shakeup in Queens.